Expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing, Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Good morning and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I hope to inspire you with positive messages and celebrate everyday people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on what we love to do, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, from kindness to healthy habits to simple happiness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you are inspired by today's show. And I hope you're inspired by the beautiful sunshine that we're having. You know, 2 years ago, we got dumped on by about a foot of snow this day. Isn't that interesting? So today, 2 years later, we are getting dumped on by this virus. And this is affecting our lives in a different way. But I hope that during these challenging times, I'm here to help inspire you through this, because everything is a phase. We are going through this, and we need to come together and go through this together. So I'm happy that you've joined me today, because this show is about being uplifting. It's about bringing positive messages. And my goal is during this time is to lower your stress, so that no matter what you're experiencing, and we're all going through challenges right now, that we can help to shift that extra burden you're carrying. We have heard from docs that this new virus that's out there, the problem with it is because it is a new virus, we've not developed antibodies to it. So our immune systems, those of us with compromised immune systems, are more susceptible and have a harder time fighting it. I know for myself, I developed a virus in early February. Why? Because I wasn't taking such good care of myself. It was at the end of the Christmas season. I was eating too much sugar because I was eating the rest of the stuff from the sugar from holiday season. I've also been really burning the candle at both ends, writing the second book. So I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I was just too busy. So I ended up getting a really rogue virus. I was down for 2 weeks because I have autoimmune issues already. So I'm the type of person that has to be very aware of viruses out there. And yes, we need to use our thieves' hand sanitizers and things like that to keep ourselves healthy. We've got to practice everyday things that my mother used to teach us to do. Every week we had to wash the doorknobs and the light switches and all of that. This is sort of bringing us back to just everyday practices, keeping ourselves healthy, and this will shift. I know that during this time we went to it was actually a fundraiser on Friday night that was canceled, but it was at the movie theater, so we ended up watching a movie. We watched Call of the Wild, and if you have not seen it, oh my goodness, if you're a pet lover or a nature lover, I highly recommend it. It was a great, great feels-good movie. So do things that uplift you. Do some things during this time when we're all kind of closed in, shut in. Take this time to do things that you wouldn't ordinarily have an opportunity to do. Catch up with your scrapbooking, your reading, watch a feels-good, funny movie. One of my partners in my practice is a laughter coach. Think about that. Because when you laugh, it actually increases your immune system. So yes, we have to take precautions, but we also need to do things that cause us to laugh and so that we can do things to build our immune system during this time. Another one of my partners is a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Laura Chan, and she's encouraging people to get a lot of rest and to reduce or completely eliminate sugar. I know this. Dark chocolate is permissible because dark chocolate has some antioxidant capabilities to it. Vitamin C, increase your vitamin C. There's a couple of other things that she talks about. Vitamin D, because of course we're inside right now. We need a little bit of extra boost of sun. The sunlight gives us vitamin D. Vitamin A, elderberry syrup. She has on our Facebook page, New Hampshire Health and Wellness Center Facebook page. She's got all of the specifics there. And of course, she precautions. You definitely check with your doctor about what you should be taking. But there are things we can do to take precautions, and things we can do to boost our immune system. Things, just simple things like going for a walk in nature, breathing the fresh air, getting some sunlight on our skin, just doing things that take that energy down. I would encourage people also to turn off negative social media. There are some amazing positive social media sources out there. I belong to several groups and they post fabulous positive energy, and that's a good thing. It's the people who are turning this into a political rant. Block it, hide it. We need to come together and not polarize in this. This is not about blaming anybody. This is a virus that is traversing the world. We need to take prevention, and we need to come together as much as possible in a virtual way and an energetic way to support one another through this. So if you're listening to the news all the time, turn it off, because so much of it has turned into a political thing, and it doesn't need to be. We need to support one another and come from a place of kindness, compassion, care, honesty, integrity. And so friend the people who are sending out positive messages, because this is a time where we need the positive energy in order to continue, in order to boost our immune system. And I am also offering a free webinar on Thursday evening. This Thursday evening, you can get there by going to loisherman.com and signing up. It's a Zoom-based webinar, and on the radio show, I'd be happy to tell you to close your eyes, but I think that those of you that are driving, you really can't do that. So that would not be good. So you're listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590. And on Thursday, as I said, I'm going to be offering a webinar where I'm actually going to be teaching you some stress reduction exercises, walking you through them, definite techniques that'll take your energy into a place of serenity and peace, which we all need during this crisis time. One of the things that you can look at on my YouTube channel is an exercise called Mind-Body Connection. I'd like to demonstrate it here, but again, you're not seeing me. For the most part, you're listening to me. So let me just tell you, many of my clients this past week have come in with a lot of stress because of what's going on in and around their world. Everyone is being affected by this in different ways. So in this mind-body connection exercise, this is something that I learned about, oh my goodness, over 20 years ago, about the kinesiology exercise. I used to do that when I was involved with another energy company, used to wear an energy disc and drank alkalized water. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this exercise. So in this exercise, I have someone think about, I start by having them hold their arm out, and I test it just with 2 fingers, and they'll be at just sort of a neutral level. And then I'll ask them to state their name. And when they state their name, their arm is strong. They have strength. Then I ask them to state some other random name. And they go weak. And they look at me like, what just happened? The body knows truth from fiction. So when you are thinking, or when you have this gut feeling that doesn't feel right, pay attention. That is your body saying something is wrong here. You need to pay attention to what resonates. Listen to your body and go with what's true. The next piece of this, the next part is I ask them to think of something that makes them happy, gives them joy, and they are strong. Then I ask them to think about something that makes them mad, sad, or angry, and they go very weak. Why? The body will respond to what our thoughts are, and if our thoughts are uplifting, we will be strong. When our thoughts are on all of this angst and fear-based, we will go weak, which means our immune system tanks, which means now we are more susceptible to catching whatever virus comes along. So I encourage you, listen to watch a funny movie, listen to your great music, get out that old guitar and start playing it. Do what gives you joy, and then your immune system will be more strong. The third part of this is I take my hand and I wave it through the middle of their energy field, and they go weak. Why? We are energetic beings. Our true being is about 3 feet beyond our physical body. The physical body is the clothes we wear, but our true being is out a bit larger, and we are electromagnetic energy beings. Have you ever been standing next to somebody and you felt like drawn to them? Wow, this person, you don't even know them, but you just want to be close. That's because there's an alignment, there's a feeling that this person is exuding of positivity, and your body is feeling it, you're touching it. Versus, have you ever been near somebody that's just like, you just want to move away? Oh, yuck. Your body is telling you something. So they go weak when I mess with their energy field, and when I zip them up, they go strong, because this is also connected with that whole EMF, electromagnetic frequency interference, that comes with cell phones and other things. You've got to distance yourself. You need to protect yourself from too much exposure, because it will absolutely interfere with our energy. And then the fourth part, people who know me, I'm a hugger, and they always say, you hug weird. Well, here, I'll tell you why. So I will do that experiment with them. I will hug them, what I consider the ballroom way, the old-fashioned way, where you're crossing meridians, and they go weak. Then I'll hug them heart to heart. A child will naturally gravitate toward hugging heart to heart. And then I test them, and they are strong. And that's because you're in alignment. Your energy is in alignment when you're hugging heart to heart. And the body knows it. We have to pay attention to this body wisdom that we have. So I learned a lot of this, like I said, over 20 years ago with this one company that I was working with energy products. And I was also involved with another company with a Dr. Robert Young, and I saw him present. And he talked about, he spent his life's work investigating the alkaline acid-based environment of our body. And he had petri dishes. He did these just numerous experiments where one petri dish was an acid-based fodder and the other was an alkaline fodder. And in these, he would put viruses, he would put bacteria, he would put mold, he'd put cancer cells, and all of them would proliferate. They would grow crazy in the acid-based fodder. In the alkaline-based fodder, they would all die. None of these germs can exist in an alkaline environment. So you've noticed that there's alkaline water out there. There are different things that we can do. Now, in a day-to-day world, what we should be doing is eating our vegetables, because that's alkalizing. We should stay away from the standard American, the SAD diet, all of the sugars, the coffee, the wine, all the things that we naturally have become used to in our environment are typically acid-based. And this is what happened with me. Even though I'm an alkalized water drinker, I still went a little bit overboard in my chocolate and my wine and sugars and the holiday stuff. That's why so many of us after the holiday season, we end up with colds, because our alkaline set point is off. We need to develop tools, techniques, things we can do to keep our body healthy and our mind strong, so we have that wonderful balance. So that's just telling you about my story. I want to introduce this amazing young man who has a whole lot more information on this than I can even talk to you about. And this young man has spent quite a bit of his life investigating this whole alkalized energy and how it affects our bodies. So I would love to introduce to you a good friend and a very informed young man, Michael McEleney. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
Thanks for having me on the show this morning. I really appreciate it. And so my background is a kind of an interesting one where I've kind of grown into this. So I never, when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to my health or I was just a kid playing, eating candy, sodas, energy drinks, all of that, and just through the years, just started to realize like what's going on, and just researching and just hearing things. Not specifically on the news, but just other news outlets, because I like to get multiple sources from my news, kind of like what you were saying earlier. So just through my research and hearing things, I started, wow, there's something going on here. But everyone around me didn't seem to notice or really care too much. So I was kind of like a lone soldier out there trying to find my way. And so it kind of just came about, just a thought in my head and kind of my own research about health, wellness. And so my background isn't, anything spectacular. It kind of just something came over me, or some kind of intuition came, and started falling down this path. I always did have a inclination for business and marketing, and I wanted to do something more, something like, I had this thing that I felt like I could be great. I didn't know what it was. So obviously we're all kind of on that path, trying to figure out what we're actually truly meant to be and what we're truly meant to do. So my experience with health, it actually kind of led me and kept pulling me and guiding me towards that. So now here I am, teaching, educating about health, and a couple of the topics you've already mentioned this morning. So especially for me as being younger, I feel like I'm here to help the youth and the ones that might have been in my situation. So I'm nothing negative against anybody, because I was right there with them, eating candies, chocolates, and still do to occasion. So I don't want to blast that. But and as you said, we all get those times around the holidays or binges, but we just need to be mindful of what we're doing and really pay attention. And like you said, because then we're susceptible to these viruses and bacteria and things that are happening. So it is a kind of like a divine timing of what you were talking about, and it's kind of all coming together now with this virus. So we really need to pay attention to our health and our well-being.
And in a perfect world, we would be cooking and eating all those wonderful vegetables. The partners that I work with, I am so inspired by how healthy they eat. And and the older generations would eat more local. They would, when women weren't working, they would fix a good meal for their families every night. And I know, being a working mom, many times I was proud of myself to have, hot dogs, macaroni, cheese, and corn for dinner. I look back now and go, oh my goodness, how awful was that? But it was, it was a square meal. It wasn't just McDonald's. So
Absolutely.
In this busy workaday world that we have, we don't tend to eat and as well as healthy as we should. Yeah. So there are some other solutions that we can do to help with that. If at least I encourage my clients, with weight clients, to at least once a week cook up a whole bunch of vegetables so that you can feed on them through the week, so that
Great
just
idea.
some tools that you can have to eat healthy.
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah, like kind of just what you were touching on. A lot of these problems we face are newer problems. I mean, back 50, 60 years ago, our water was cleaner, our air was cleaner, our food was clean, right? A lot of people, even my mom, grew up on a farm.
Right.
And she, they went out and picked the eggs, and they went out and slaughtered pigs, and it was a normal process. Now, it's like you don't even know where your local farms are, and it's kind of scary, and we don't know where our food's coming from. So it is harder, like you were saying, so to get, even just fresh vegetables, of like where to go, where to trust. Because you go to your local food store, it's like, it might say organic, you don't know things now saying all natural.
Right.
Well, what is all natural?
Exactly.
So
I know there's a lot of emphasis on supporting local co-ops, and a lot of friends that I have do that. Even if you don't grow, you purchase from your local co-op, which is a
Absolutely.
great thing. Or many people that I know just plant their own small gardens where they're, growing a few vegetables. But yes, there's also a belief that if you eat local, if you eat the foods that are grown, that are indigenous to your environment, it helps give you the exact immunity that you need in order to fight off any virus that is in that area.
absolutely. Yeah.
And
So
I'm sorry, Michael, I wanted just to tell our audience that this is Lois Herman. You're listening to the Inspiring Hope Lois Herman show, and I have a guest on here, Michael McEleney, who is an expert in drinking alkalized and an expert on energy and the different water, the different things that we can take to keep ourselves healthy and happy. And this is WSMN 1590. So we're here every Sunday morning, and I always have a wonderful guest or a topic that is that's designed to inspire you, to keep you on that healthy, happy path. So, Michael, tell me a little bit more about the experiences that you've seen with people who have changed their habits.
yeah, so I really think, and a lot of work you've done is we've seen a shift, and that's great, with a shift in consciousness of the average person. And like we all experience that shift, and mine was kind of slowly and just learning, but it's starting to happen now, and it almost takes a crisis or a virus or something to actually people sit back and say, wow, what's going on? What can I do? And it might take you sitting home for 2 weeks and, being quarantined to realize, hey, what is going, I need to make a change. So, so I think people are open minded right now, and they're ready and they're looking for things. And so it is great timing that we're here to uplift and kind of stay away from the negative and talk about what we can do to make a positive change in ourselves. And that, as you were hitting on earlier, will boost the immune system.
Absolutely.
Right, and help you fight off those diseases and viruses, and can actually make you, say you get something or you're sick right now, doing mindful practices can help shorten those lengths.
Absolutely.
So like you mentioned, drinking alkaline water, there's a couple of things I work on that we'll talk about in a minute, but surround yourself with positivity. We use a lot of crystals and salt lamps, so anything you can do to help your environment will actually boost your immune system and help you fight that quicker.
And you know what? Music is one of those things. In the company that I was involved with before, excuse me, there was a violinist who created a 7-string electric violin, and so each string basically was tuned to the different chakras. So when you listen to this music, your whole body just resonates. So you find the music that resonates with you, because music will absolutely shift the energy around you into a more positive alignment, be it new age, be it classical, or if you're into hard rock, do something that gives you joy, that gets the body moving. But find music is a wonderful way to get yourself out of your head and into just feeling better.
Yep. And that's a great point. You just mentioned music. I just started learning about sound healing and these singing bowls, and I knew gongs and stuff like that. So there's a bowl and it's vibration. You can feel it throughout your body. So
absolutely,
I'm kind of new to all that stuff, but I'm open-minded, and that was frequencies and vibrations and do help, and I've been kind of learning about that myself.
Because we are vibrational energy beings.
Yep. Great.
And can you tell us what it means to be alkaline versus acid? Because I know that people are saying, okay, well, I know that a hamburger is acid versus broccoli is more alkaline. But when you're talking about water, is there what is the actual, if you were to take a litmus or some sort of a test, what is the category for alkaline versus acid?
Yep. So I like to kind of break it down so people can understand it. I know there's some more scientific stuff. How I approach things is kind of how I grew up, just learning. And so I like to make it simple for people. And basically what we're talking about here is acidic diets being, as Lois mentioned, coffee, fast food, even tea, some kind of teas, candy, you name it, right? Most of our American diet. So there are alkaline foods. So there's a kind of misconception when we talk about alkaline. So there are already alkaline foods, and then there's another subject called alkaline water. So I focus on the alkaline water. I always do recommend people eat a alkaline diet, and that's just a natural diet of fruits, vegetables, greens, what we call them, right? So, but my specific focus, and I talk about, is alkaline water. So through my research and testing, I've actually come to the realization that there are waters that can be acidic, and that was shocking. That was kind of my breaking point for me, because just I always grew up just water's water and drink it and it's healthy for you, right? And I come across people that don't even do that. They don't even drink their recommended amount of water. I've met a lady that says, water, oh, I don't drink any of that, right? Which is funny because we need that to survive, but she's probably getting her water through her coffees or, everything. Water's the base of pretty much everything, right? So she's probably getting her daily water intake through her sodas or whatever.
Actually, what I was told is for every cup of coffee that you drink, because it's depleting, you should have an equal, whatever you drink that is not pure water, you should have an equal amount that you drink that is water. Because what I was told at one point is, whatever, if you were to wash your clothes in it, would it be considered water? And it's not. So people say, oh, well, I have all this tea in a day. It's not water. It's tea. It's tainted. So if think about it, if you're going to wash your clothes, you want to make sure that you're washing it in clean water.
Yeah, and that's kind of really what the and I'm great you mentioned that. So really, what I'm talking about is clean water at the end of the day, because clean water would be naturally alkaline, right? So kind of going through all this and kind of myself awakening, realizing about. And so as you were mentioning before, I'm sorry to get off subject, was the so we're talking about pH testing. So that's kind of a standard of tracking. So people wonder, usually people ask me, oh, is that similar to like a pool or hot tub? You're balancing pH levels.
Right.
And yes, our body is always going to be balancing pH. So what we do is we use a little pH test. You can do the tongue strips. Some people get that. Most health food stores have some kind of pH testing. So you could test your body. What I do is physical pH drops to test the waters. And through testing, I bought them all, right? From the cheaper ones to the most expensive ones on the market. And I was shocked.
The cheaper waters you're talking
Bottles
about.
of waters,
Bottles
yep,
of water,
on the
yes.
market, yep. And different brands, I mean, you hear them out there. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't want to single any of them out. But you go to the store, you see them all, right? So I'm talking about $4 or $5 for a bottle of water. And I've tested some of them that are, will I say, average on the pH scale, about neutral, right, about a 7. And then I've had 3 or 4 ones that are cheaper ones, 50 cents for a bottle. You can get them in the bulk, right? And some of those are testing almost the same. It's shocking as some of these expensive ones. So you really just got to pay attention. And that's kind of what I'm transitioning my focus on, is educating people, because so if you go into the store, it's all branding and marketing.
Right.
So and what's funny is this whole alkaline craze has just been a more recent thing. I've been talking about this stuff for years, which is funny. And about the last 6 months to a year or so now, you go in the store and there's signs for alkaline water, and major companies have actually created alkaline water brands. And there's other ones that are just saying pH neutral. There's other ones saying that it claims to be alkaline, and then it says the keyword is at the time of bottling. So there's different keywords that you need to focus on, and yeah, go ahead.
And then the other part of that is at the time of bottling.
Yep.
But now it's set, the water is in a plastic bottle that is possibly leaching in different chemicals. So we're also concerned about consuming water in plastic bottles, 1, and 2, what happens with that plastic when it goes out into the world? So is there a better way of consuming water that we know, that we trust, that we're not creating landfills, we're not that is also not sitting in our car in a plastic bottle in the heat, and then we drink it and now we're drinking plastic?
Yeah, so funny you mentioned that. So I was just kind of talking about the pH, but then there's a whole nother thing of the chemicals that are in the tap water, right?
Exactly.
And then the BPAs in the plastic. So say you go buy a bottle of water for $5 at the store, you think you're consuming good water, and a lot of it might be pure, or it did come from that spring, it's great, but there could be added chemicals, right? There could be that plastic that's leaching into it. There could be the other thing I just recently learned was shelf life. So depending where that water is coming from, if it needs to be shipped somewhere, right? So there's a couple companies that are overseas, one in the island of Fiji. So, and then there's other ones that are coming from Europe and other places that might be actually really pure water that come from a natural spring. But through the bottling process, through the shipping, right? It's in shipping containers. It could be going into a warehouse. Now it's sitting on a shelf.
Right.
So I've seen waters for like a 2-year turnaround from when it was bottled to when you're drinking it. 2
Exactly.
years. And you're going through shipping containers, so the temperatures are rising. And
Sure.
most people have or know this, don't drink water that's been in the car, right? Hot or too cold.
Right.
Because that helps leach the chemicals. People have actually died from drinking water that was sitting in a bottle that got overheated.
I know the overheated. I didn't realize the too cold.
Yeah.
So that's the same. That's interesting.
Yeah, so you don't want to take a water bottle and freeze it and then let it and then drink it like once
Right.
it thaws.
That's
Yep.
it.
So both
I didn't
ways, yeah.
realize that.
So there's a lot of stuff, and that's just talking about so
The chemicals in the water.
the chemicals, and then the alkalinity. So what I focus on is teaching people how to get alkaline water and actually get it cheaper. And so that's kind of why I'm here and educating people. So I work with a startup company called Juva, and we have several of these products in multiple of these categories. So Lois is hitting on several categories earlier about ions and EMFs, and so obviously she mentioned the alkaline water. We do a lot with a couple other different categories, but so our main thing is a water pitcher, right? So if you go to the store, you'll see water pitchers on the market, and those are becoming more popular because people aren't concerned about the plastic and spending all this money, and so you want to find a source that you can keep regenerating water, and this can actually take your water from your tap.
Through a filtration system that's in the actual water pitcher.
Yeah, so you actually can take your water right from your tap, run it through this alkaline ionized water pitcher, create fresh water, and what we use is refillable bottles, or you can get a BPA-free one. They have them in the stores.
What does BPA free mean?
So BPA-free means plastic. I know there's other terms out there, so BPA is one of them. There's other microplastics in there, so that's kind of the key one that they... So you want to get glass would be the best, actually. But at least get a bottle that says BPA free. So that's kind of the main one that's everyone kind of knows and realize it. And that's in most of the water bottles on the shelves, right? So we use reusable water bottles. Glass is fine. There's many companies out there. You can get them at any local
Many
source.
people are doing that.
Yeah,
You know, Michael, something comes to mind I want to share, if you don't mind.
absolutely.
Back in the 90s was when I first started drinking alkalized water. And at the time, I was working for Hewlett Packard. And one of the things that I was doing was we were developing ultrasound systems. And I was one of the clinical experts on the team. And I would scan my carotid artery, that's the arteries in my neck. And I had a lovely little plaque in my artery.
Oh, no.
And, you know, we all have it. What it is the plaque is basically the body's ability to protect the walls of the lining of the vessels from rogue viruses and bacteria and things like that are traveling in the bloodstream. So we would use my plaque to take pictures so that we could show the detail quality of the ultrasound system, right? So I had this beautiful little plaque that we had, you know, as a poster child plaque.
Oh, no.
Well, I started drinking the alkalized water.
Oh, wow.
My plaque went away. The engineers would say, wait a minute,
Where'd it go?
Where's your plaque? Where's your plaque? How can I take a picture now? How can I prove my beautiful new technique, my new technology? So that was an eye opener for me, and that was the only thing that I changed in my diet was drinking the alkalized water, and it really for me that was the litmus test. That was wow, I knew I had that plaque. And now, if I were to scan my carotids, they probably, this is 20 years later, it's been a little while since I've had my carotid scanned, but I'm sure that they're healthy.
Yeah, and that's the kind of cool thing that we've learned. So we're talking about alkalinity, but now we can kind of dive into what it does for us and how it can benefit us. So as you were saying, so it's going to help you boost that immune system and fight off infections, viruses. It's going to basically heal you in many different ways, and that's what shocked me. It was just like drinking water, and it was that simple. And people, they get kind of crazy, and we're going to do this, and we're going to take this vitamin, we're going to do this treatment, right? And spend thousands of dollars and trying to find all these ways. It's like you get back to that basic thing, drink water, start with that. And that's what I always tell people. Get hydrated, let the body heal itself, and then we go from there and see, because there might be more, obviously, a little bit other issues that, water might not be able to fix. If you get a broken bone, you can't just drink some water, right? So, but get healthy with your food, get healthy with your water, then we can take it from there and see what we need. So as you were drinking your alkaline water, it was just kind of your immune system was healing, the plaque was going away, and for me, I've seen that with many people.
Tell us some more stories.
Yeah. So, and kind of going back what you mentioned earlier, my backstory. So I got into this because I had a lot of health issues in my family. I had cancer, and actually my mother, and a lot of other stuff happening with her. So that kind of gave me, a sense of like purpose. Like, wow, I really need to help her in some way, because she was just struggling, and the doctors would have her on all these things and all these treatments, and I'm just sitting here like seeing her wilt away, and it was really traumatic experience in my life, and I was pretty young at the time, and so just learning of what I can do to help, and one of the things that came up, it was water. I couldn't believe it, and I just kind of noticed her diet and looking at that, and I said, wow, she's not drinking enough of this. So originally I said, just drink more water. Didn't matter what it was, and just drink more water, even from the tap, because alkaline water is like what I was mentioning earlier. It can be very expensive, sometimes hard to get. So I myself, we make it easier, we make it affordable, but for the average person that just wants to get some health and start going, I just tell people drink water. Just start with that, even if it's tap, even if it's something. Move away from these things.
And I know oftentimes people will say, or the health related people will suggest that you start the day with a glass of water.
Yep.
Room temperature water, but you brush your teeth, and then you drink down a full glass of water even before your cup of coffee,
right,
because it kind of pushes through the system and gets the system ready for the day.
Yeah. So the water will help give you energy. It will help your brain function. So our brains are mostly water. Our body in general is mostly water. In the 70s range, it's some people claim 76, but it's about 70% water. Our brains are even higher than that, almost closer to 80. So brain function, right? Your body, it'll help your joints move, and everything will work better. So drinking water, right? So start with that, and then once you kind of go down that path, and we look at, okay, what's the right water? Because the best water you can get is naturally alkaline. So people try to debate it. It's, I don't like to go into arguments with people, but if you get natural state water from a spring source or anywhere out there, it's going to be in a state of alkalinity.
So just to pause for a second,
Yeah.
You're listening to Michael McEleney, and you are listening to the Inspiring Hope show with Lois Herman, and Michael's my guest today, and we're talking about boosting your immune system,
Yep.
keeping yourself healthy in the threat of viruses and other things that are coming around. We're exposed to them all the time, but if we can keep our immune system healthy and boosted with a variety of different things, from eating healthy, drinking water, drinking alkalized water, which is a nice easy way to help that process, to doing mindfulness, to getting yourself happy, doing things to inspire yourself, self-hypnosis techniques, things that'll keep your mind and body quiet and calm. So we're at 15 WSMN 1590. We're here every Sunday morning. And Michael, your mom, she ended up drinking alkalized water, and what happened?
Yeah, so like I said kind of earlier, I wasn't any kind of scientist. I didn't have any medical background. I was just a kid that wanted to, was hungry to learn and hungry to just kind of take on this new chapter of educating myself, because, right, I can't educate others until I educate myself. But I was just doing so much research and finding, wow, that water can be acidic. There are waters out there that can harm us. Right? And then it just shocked me to the core, because you think of, like, people tell you, oh, drink more water. Okay, but then if that one source, that's basically the source of life, everything needs water, animals, right, everything. if that source is
Imagine
plants,
if you don't water a plant, what happens?
it wilts away. Correct.
Yeah.
So if that source is tainted with either chemicals or plastics or, just the environment itself is pollution, air.
But people love stories. I want to
Yeah.
get back to your
So,
mom.
yes.
So what happened with your mother when she started drinking the alkalized water?
Yes. So through my research, I found water has no negative side effects, right? So everyone needs that. So I told her, hey, let's get you started with water. Drink some water. Fortunately for me, I was just starting out with my alkaline water company, and I said, okay, we're going to start with this. So we gave her water in about 2 months. She went back for her doctor's visit, and they cut back her medications. And it was a very rapid, which was wild. It was very rapid. Within 6 months, she started losing weight, cutting back medications. The doctors were like, oh, wow, everything's working. This is wonderful. And mind you, she was sick for about 20 years. So with a rapid change in about a 6-month period, and the only thing I introduced was alkaline water from my water pitcher, was shocking. And then, so we knew it had to be that. And what's funny, previously before I even mentioned it to her, and nothing against her, but it was just, well, I don't know, or my doctor said I can't do resistance. I won't say negative, because she's been nothing but great with this, and but it was a rapid change in her life, just drinking the right water. So I'm not even talking about drinking water now. I'm talking about drinking the right water,
The alkalized water,
alkaline water, and it's more than that too.
Yes, it is.
Because it has ions. This has hydrogen, so that's another piece to it. So many more things, but alkaline's kind of the key word here. So yes, rapid change, weight loss, everything. And so she was going to the doctors, and they were cutting back medications, and everything was going great. And what was funny is they said, oh, this medication's working. And she said, no, I haven't been taking it. And the guy's face was just in shock. How is she improving her health? And all these things are happening so rapidly, and she's not even taking the medication.
Wow.
And so and then for her, she's like, wow, okay. So she comes back to me and is like, okay, what is this? Let's talk. She didn't even know what she was doing.
Right.
I just said, drink it. And then I ended up giving her something else, another product that I was working with. And that shown, positive side benefits as well. And between the two, she's healthy now. She's, I'm not going to say cured, because I don't like to make claims that aren't true. But she's moving around. She's not in bed all day. And she'll even tell you, you know her personally.
Oh, yeah,
it's a great story. And,
Yes.
And for me, I was like, wow, I seen her growing up, just in bed all the time, sick, tired. She couldn't even make dinner for us. It was pretty traumatic. So I always wanted to help her, and I was able to, and which was amazing.
That had to feel great.
Yeah. And then, so that experience made me say, wow, if I can help my own mother, who else can I help and educate?
Exactly. And I know you've become connected with a group of several different groups of holistic practitioners, and some of them have had some pretty amazing stories too.
Yep.
As you're connecting with different people who are more open to this type of alkalized water, and then there's energy. I know that if you can see, I have a little energy disc on my phone to protect me from EMF, and you also have there's a colloidal silver, and
Yep.
even back the other company back in the 90s that I was affiliated with, we had a colloidal silver. It was in drops. Again, it was just to keep the immune system boosted.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of the different products that Juva does offer, and you can find them. Michael, how can they find you or find? I actually am a distributor, though I don't promote it.
Yep.
I'm a user. I love the products,
Yep.
but I actually refer people to Michael if they want to find out more about it.
So the best way to contact me, so I have a Facebook page, Instagram, my numbers on my Facebook page.
What is your Facebook page?
So it's Michael McEleney. You should
Spell that.
So it's first name Michael,
Got that one.
last name is McEleney.
And you can find if you're at my Facebook page or my website, you'll be able to, or my YouTube. This whole video will be posted on my new YouTube channel, so you can see all of these Inspiring Hope shows at my brand new YouTube channel, and you can get there. I'd love it if you would, listeners, if you're interested in listening to these others, if you would subscribe, because if I can get 100 subscribers, I'll actually have one that says Lois Herman. Right now it's a bunch of hieroglyphics, but you can get there by going to loisherman.com, and there's a button right there that'll take you to the YouTube channel. So this will be there, and you'll be able to see Michael's name and be able to friend him, get more information from him on the different products. And he's a pro at talking about all these. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman. We're here every Sunday morning on WSMN 1590. And I usually have a wonderful guest, just people that I meet every day that are doing things to help humanity, to help people to thrive. And that's what we need to do. We need to be supporting one another on this journey, because there are more good people out there than there are not so. Unfortunately, our media tends to sensationalize the not so, the negative, and I am on a mission to help promote the positive, because if we can boost our mind, body, spiritual connection, we can boost our immune system, we can sail through all of this, and we need to do this collectively. We need to come together and support one another. So Michael, thank you for being here. Do you have another great story that you can tell? Because I know I've attended a couple of the different meetings, and there's so many success stories.
There's so many stories. And we didn't even talk about, you could talk about these subjects for hours. I could, and that's what's kind of crazy. You could talk about water for hours. But I did want to hit on one thing before I get some testimonies. So Lois did mention colloidal silver. And right now, silver is being shown to help with viruses, bacteria, yeast, mold. We can't make claims that we're, killing the coronavirus, right? But these things can help, certainly. And we have a product called True Silver. It's an alkaline silver. It's the only one in the market that's an actual alkaline state. And that helps it absorb into the body better, right? So these original colloidal silvers, or people make it at home, and that's great. But you just got to be careful of how you're making it, and because you're literally drinking silver, so it's parts per million, so you got to be very careful how you're making it. And I meet a lot of people that are making it at home. And you can go to your local stores and get it. That's great. But it's really the alkalinity mixed with the silver. So I have a bottle right here. It helps get into bloodstream quicker. You can use it in so many different ways. So you can actually spray it on your hands. You can
use it as a hand sanitizer.
Yeah, so that's what I've been using as a hand sanitizer. This one's in a nasal spray bottle, so I'm using it as a nasal spray. If I get a stuffy nose in the morning, anything like that.
I know that I use it every morning, and when I make my
put it in your water. So this is a product that's just been flying off the shelves right now. I'm getting calls all day long because all these hand sanitizer are getting sold out in the stores. You can't even find a bottle of hand sanitizer. People are, you go on eBay or something, you're $100. And even some of these hand sanitizer, they have alcohol base, and there's other chemicals in there.
And I know for myself, I'm very sensitive to my environment, so my hands will rash if I use anything that has harsh chemicals in it.
You out,
so between the colloidal, the True Silver, and I'm also a big Thieves fan. But I have a friend who works at a local Staples store, and she had someone last week came in and bought all of the hand sanitizer.
No way.
And then she got a call from Home Depot. The same person had gone in and bought all. So somebody's going around buying all the hand sanitizers so that they can then sell it
for a profit.
For a profit.
Messed up.
Yes, I know it is. It's greed, and which is so yeah.
So this silver is great because say you can't go to the store and buy your local sanitizer or wipes. You can actually spray it on your countertops. You could spray it in your environment. We have a dropper. It's literally just like in a liquid bottle, and you can put it in these little containers. I actually just drink a teaspoon a day. And so yes, you can use it as a hand sanitizer, use it to clean things. So please guys reach out because it is really helping people. We've had all kinds of testimonies on it. I had a lady the other day said her kid had an ear infection. She was putting some in her child's ear, and it was gone within 2 days. I mean, we're seeing great turnarounds. And we've had people with different viruses that would have been like a 10-day, and now they're getting down to 2 or 3.
Right.
So you can put some in your water, and I do recommend that. We also do have a gel form, which is great. So it's a topical gel, so that might be a little bit better for the hand sanitizer, cuts, bruises, rashes, like you were saying. So if you're breaking out with eczema or you have some kind of rash coming on, instead of going for these expensive creams, going to the doctor and get some kind of shot or something, start with taking care of yourself, right? But then adding in these healthy things. So maybe try the silver first before you spend all this money.
There's a lot of different really good and very well researched products that are being sold. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that a lot of people are interested in keeping themselves healthy during this period of time, and that's key. Is keeping, like I was saying, your mental health is so important, and we have to also honor our body. We've got to keep ourselves in a state of symbiosis, because many people focus only on the body.
Yes.
And they're all about the body, but then they miss that mental emotional connection. And we have to keep all 4 parts of our being in balance.
Yep.
The one is the body, the physical body, which is being invaded by this virus right now. However, if our mental state is in balance, we can fight it. If our emotional state is in balance and our spiritual self is saying, hey, it's going to be okay. If we come from a place of fear and, oh my God, then guess what? That energy, like I was saying before, the energy is weak, and you may be more susceptible to catching the virus, and it will take longer to allow your body to heal.
Yeah.
So we have to get our bodies, that again, mind, body, spirit, we are all parts. We cannot just focus on one thing. We must focus on keeping all of us together, all parts of us in a wonderful symbiotic balance. So I'm going to be going through more of these points on the webinar. It's a free webinar that I'm offering for people to get their stress levels down. And I'm actually going to be having you join me in some stress busting exercises. I call them Stressipes for life. And because you'll be able to actually be at your home by your computer, you'll be able to close your eyes, and you'll be able to actually feel the wonderful benefits of mindfulness training and getting your body, your mind, and your spirit in alignment so that you can be at a happy place. Because when your body and your spirit and your emotions are in a happy place, you're stronger all the way around.
Absolutely.
So yes, you need to be drinking healthy water. You need to be eating healthy things. You need to be watching fun and healthy movies. You need to tap into all that is good around you. Someone posted a minute ago earlier this morning on Facebook on a group that I belong to that said, post one thing that is positive as to how this is affecting your life. I don't want to hear any negative post. And it was amazing. There were probably 83 comments of people who were like, hey, for me, it's like a guilt-free time to work on my book.
Yeah.
I'm getting close to the end of book 2. And so I'm just, focused on that. Other people are talking about picking up that dusty old guitar and playing it for the first time in a long time.
You think you're stuck in your home and for 2 weeks or whenever.
Right. Pull out a board game and play with your family.
Yeah.
Do different things. Maybe this is a good time for family connection. And there was another nice thing that I saw where one of the big challenges are people who are self-employed right now, who, because there's so many shutdowns, if people work for a company that provides sick leave and vacation, then that's one thing. But most people who are self-employed, basically, this is hitting them financially. So buy a certificate, buy a gift certificate from them, so that then you can, maybe you can use it later. Maybe later you can use it, but right now give them the benefit of buying a gift certificate from them, and so that they can actually have some money to sustain themselves through this. Because somebody who's self-employed does not have, if they're not working, they're not making money.
Exactly.
So that's one of the biggest challenges. So if we reach out and do simple things, simple acts of kindness, what can we do to help another person to feel good? So you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman. This is WSMN. We've been listening to Michael McEleney. And Michael, do you have a favorite quote that you would like to use to end the show with?
I had a couple down. I had one the other night that just popped in my head. It said, "Fear or be fierce." So you can kind of give into the fear, or you can be fierce in this time and really.
Right.
And so that was kind of one I just made up. I mean, there's tons of out there.
I like that.
But you can
and
do
right
it-
now, being fierce is
Yes.
about standing in your own power. Keep staying healthy, happy. Be fierce. Protect yourself. Protect your family, and be aware. Yet be mindful. Let go of the fear. Fear will just bring you down. Be fierce. Stand in your power. I like that, Michael. That's a great.
Yeah, and I just
a
made
great,
that up
great-
on the fly.
Awesome.
Whatever.
So you are listening. We'll see you next week. I hope you join us next Sunday morning at 9 o'clock on Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman. We're at WSMN 1590. Meanwhile, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. Thank you.